You will not believe these facts about Cameron Payne that the media hasn't told you. Cameron Payne. A lot of people probably wouldn't have even heard of him if you weren't a die-hard fan of a few of the teams that he'd been on throughout his NBA career. However, he's begun to make a name for himself as a member of the Phoenix Suns, a team that made the NBA Finals this past season in part due to his emergence as the sixth man. In today's video, we're going over 10 of the most interesting facts that we could find about this young point guard, so stick around until the end of the video to find out what the most mind-blowing fact about him is. First up at number 10, he flipped his nickname ever since he entered the league. Many of you may not have heard of this story before today, but Cameron Payne was given the nickname Smooth when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder in his rookie season. He claimed that he had no idea how his teammates came up with the idea or why it was sticking around, but he did mention that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook just kind of randomly came out with it. Since that moment, he bounced around to a few different teams before landing with the Phoenix Suns this past season, being a critical part of their NBA Finals run. During that stretch, players were calling him the Campaign. Now, if you couldn't tell already, this name was probably created off of his full name, Cameron Payne. Now that he's starting to be heavily recognized around the league, hopefully we can see the Campaign stick around a lot more than we did with Smooth. Up next at number 9, he had a massive growth spurt. If you take a look around the NBA, you'll find a lot of players who have had tremendous growth spurts. Guys like CJ McCollum are one of the most obvious examples of that, and it can take a player from a below-average bench player to a young star in a matter of moments. A similar situation happened for Cameron Payne. The young point guard was just 5'5" when he entered high school. In just a few years, though, Payne was 6 feet tall and was taking large strides in his basketball development. Had it not been for that solid growth spurt, we may not have seen Payne in the league. Only a few players at the point guard position less than 5'8" or so are able to be drafted and stick around. You probably heard of a few of them too, like Isaiah Thomas from the Boston Celtics, and of course, the great Muggsy Bogues, who was only like 5'4" during his playing career. Moving on to number 8, did you know that Cameron Payne's brother was also a talented basketball player? When Cameron was growing up, his father Tony Payne coached a youth basketball team. His dad was able to teach both him and his brother Tony Jr. the ropes of the game at a young age to help them prepare down the line. Tony Jr. didn't make it into the NBA like Cameron did, well, at least not yet, but he still played the point guard position at Lane College. Lane College is a Division II school located in Jackson, Tennessee. If it weren't for his father's intelligence of the game and his mother's undying motivation to keep on pushing forward, both Cameron and Tony Jr. maybe wouldn't have been able to shape out into the strong players we know and love. Also, be sure to stick around until the end of the video because we're going to talk about another reason why he's so loved around the NBA community, and you won't want to miss it. Coming in at number 7, Cameron Payne was only considered a 3-star recruit in college. This may not be that much of a surprise given how he bounced around to multiple NBA teams, but it's still a shock when you look at how he was performing at the time of that rating. He was attending Lausanne Collegiate School and had led them to a 2013 Division II state title down in Tennessee. However, Rivals.com apparently didn't find that feat very impressive, so he got slapped with a 3-star label. To make matters even worse for him, Payne wasn't even ranked in the top 100 prospects. I mean, come on, man. I know he wasn't the best player in his class, but they could have given him at least some respect, right? Now we're on to number 6, where Cameron Payne was able to dominate the game during his time in college. Throughout his freshman season in school, he averaged 16.8 points, 5.4 assists, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.7 steals a game. He also fit right in straight away. His very first game against Valparaiso, he ended up with 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And the play continued for a while as he picked up the Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year award. By the end of the season, his stats were 20.2 points, 6 assists, 3.7 rebounds, and 1.9 steals per game as a freshman. I'm telling you, there are not many people out there who were able to dominate the college scene like he was, though he was playing in a lesser-known school at Murray State, unlike, say, Zion Williamson, who was playing at Duke. Maybe that did play a factor, but then again, it shouldn't diminish his insane play during the course of his collegiate career. Coming in at number 5, Cameron Payne was drafted pretty highly. It seems like a lot of people you talk to think he might have been an undrafted player, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. As a matter of fact, Payne was selected by the Oklahoma City Thunder with the 14th overall selection in the 2015 draft. His rookie deal got locked in on July 10th of that same year, and he was set to play in the NBA alongside Durant and Westbrook. Though he didn't last with the team very long, actually. Just a few years into his Thunder stint, the team traded him over to the Chicago Bulls, where he spent a lot of time over in the D-League before finally getting a chance to shine in the big leagues. He dropped a double-double just a month after his season debut with the Bulls. It wasn't the best rookie year that somebody could ask for, but he was still able to prove that he belonged in the league when he was given playing time, which is what matters most. Our next fact at number 4 explains exactly why he was traded from the Thunder in the first place. It was announced right before the NBA draft began, as in earlier in the week, that Payne had a broken ring finger on his non-shooting hand. Luckily, he didn't require surgery on the injury, which is why the Thunder felt like the risk was worth the reward in the long run. He ended up getting right back into it and dropped a career-high 17 points later in the season. It was that next year that things got worse for him. He suffered yet another injury, this time a fracture of the 5th metatarsal during a scrimmage game. He missed 2 full months of that season and was ultimately traded just a few weeks after he came back from that painful injury. Next up at number 3, Cameron Payne found himself with no NBA home for quite some time. Despite the talent that he was able to display on the court when he was given minutes, nobody felt like picking him up in the 2019 season. Right before that, he was on the Toronto Raptors, who kept him around for a while before eventually releasing him. He only played in 1 game for them and was on the court for just a total of 12 minutes, and that was in a preseason game. Due to the lack of options he had for his career and the fact that he was randomly dropping out of the league despite being a late lottery pick had him pretty confused. So he chose to head over to China to play with the Jiangxi Loons for a while. He dominated in his time over there though, averaging 22.5 points, 6 rebounds, 7.5 assists, and 4.5 steals per contest. Yeah, you heard that last stat correctly. For some reason though, the team still replaced him when the season came to an end, and he was once again without a roster spot anywhere. It was then that he linked up with the Texas Legends in the G League. He picked up the NBA G League Player of the Week award a month after signing to the team, averaging 23.3 points, 7.3 rebounds, 10.3 assists, and 2.7 steals per game during that span. Fast forward yet another month, and the Phoenix Suns were knocking on his door to hand him another NBA contract, and it looks like this time it's finally gonna stick. Moving on to number 2. Now, we've already gone over the fact that he was given the Ohio Valley Award during his freshman year in college. Now we'll talk about how he was able to win a hell of a lot more awards the next couple of years at Murray State. For one, he was named first-team All-Conference as a freshman. Then, at the end of his sophomore year, he picked up a first-team All-OVC honor on top of being the Conference Player of the Year. Fast forward 1 more season, and he was able to play well enough to garner the OVC Male Athlete of the Year award, a very prestigious honor for any young and hopeful athlete from any sport. But guess what? He picked up 1 more award that probably was the most important. Voters got together to decide that Payne performed well enough in his final season at Murray State to win the Lute Olson Award. Now, if you aren't familiar with that award, it's an annual award that they give out every season to the most outstanding non-freshman men's college basketball player in all of Division I. His head coach at the time, Steve Prohm, came out with very high praise of the young point guard after he was awarded so many honors. This is what he had to say regarding that award. He's a remarkable point guard, and I wouldn't take any other point guard in the country over him. It's not often that you hear your head coach give you tremendous praise like that, but Payne proved to be an exception to that rule. We finally made it to number 1, and man, is this the best fact of them all. If you happen to be around social media during the time that Russell Westbrook was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, then chances are you saw Cameron Payne and just didn't know it yet. There were tons of videos swirling around the internet of Westbrook breaking it down right in front of the scorer's table alongside a teammate. That same teammate accompanied him before every single game, and they routinely danced in front of the scorer's table. Mind you, they have some pretty outstanding dance moves too. That player turned out to be, of course, Cameron Payne, and when he was asked about how he felt he was known around the league, he simply responded that it was probably for his dancing. Maybe the best part about their routine is that it wasn't actually a routine. They didn't get together and organize some type of crazy dance routine to do every single game. It was basically just a habit for them to get together and dance, but they pretty much did whatever their heart desired right in that exact moment. Nothing was planned, they just freestyled, wanted to go out there and get themselves pumped up before game time, and who wouldn't respect that? That just about does it for this video on the best facts about Cameron Payne. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Also, remember to smash that bell icon so that you never miss another video, because we've got some great stuff planned for the future that you won't want to miss out on.